Hi Scott again. I'm going to be showing you today how to try out this new recipe for a weed killer that I found. It has three ingredients. It has vinegar, and it's white vinegar, and it has salt, and it has a little bit of dish soap, and that's all it is. You use about a half gallon of vinegar and a cup of salt and just a little squirt of the dish soap. The dish soap is to help get the water repellent nature of the plants off, so that this will go right on the plant. And one warning, you don't want to touch anything with this because salt and vinegar are going to kill pretty much anything it touches. And another thing you need to remember too is if you're using this in the garden, make sure you just spray it gently, or not gently, but a little bit on the weeds, and not spread it everywhere. It is salty, but it's the amount of salt that will just go through the soil and shouldn't be a problem. But you might want to test it on an area first to see how that goes. And I've got a sprayer here, and what I usually do is I fill it about up to here with the white vinegar, and then I'll pour in a quarter cup of salt, half cup of salt, depending on how much salt's in the salt shaker, or if I've got a big container of salt, I'll put more in. This is probably about maybe a little less than a quart. So it would normally, with that recipe, you'd have a quart of vinegar, half cup of salt, and a little squirt of dish soap. So we'll put it in, and I'm going to go spray, and then I'll show you the results after a few hours and after a couple of days. And I think I'm going to spray it today, and I'm going to spray it tomorrow, because this field bindweed is just a noxious weed, and I've tried everything. I've tried glyphosate, that's in Roundup, and there's other products that have it, but nothing seems to work. And I've heard that what you can do, what they suggest, if you've got the long vines of bindweed, you can actually bundle them up and put a Ziploc bag around them, and then zip the bag up as tight as it will go without breaking the vine. So pack as much in there as you can, and then in the other end of the plastic bag you put you spray your Roundup, and make sure you're wearing rubber gloves and a face mask, because you don't want to get this stuff on you. And you spray it, and then make sure it's not sitting in the sun to bake, because it'll cook those, and you won't get the benefit of the Roundup before it just cooks. So you can put a piece of cardboard or something over that, but usually over a period of a few days it will kill it. And I have some of the ones that have long vines, but most of mine are in little clumps, so it takes a lot more spray, and I can't really do it that method with the Ziploc bag. I have to do a spray. So I'll try that, I'll mix it up, and I'll show you the results. Okay, here's after one day of spraying, and then I sprayed it again today, and you can see there are parts dying. There's some that are still green, but almost all of it has some dead spots. You know, that's just barely starting to die. But you can see brown spots on almost all of them, and there are some dying. That one's really toasted. That one's toasted. So I've got hope that this is working, but we'll see. Here's some grass that I sprayed. Looks like nothing's happening. Well, there's some that appear to be having some stress, but well, that bindweed seems to be struggling. Good. Couldn't happen to a nicer weed. These We used to call these cheese plants because they have um, a little seed or something on them. I've actually sprayed these with Roundup before without anything happening, but sprayed them with this mixture, and after about 6 hours, look at the spots. The stuff is dying, dead. Yeah, it's really starting to do a job on it. I'm really pleased with this mix. There's some parts of it that still look healthy, but they are starting to make a difference. I also sprayed it on this little sumac tree. We get sumac trees all over the place, and they're just a pest. And it's not showing any signs of problems yet. Hopefully by tomorrow we'll start to see something. Sprayed some on this, and it seems just as healthy as can be. This one's I've only had it on for about 6 hours, but nothing I've sprayed on this kills it. I've tried Roundup in several different brand names, and out front in our yard I've got some grass that I've tried putting some Roundup on, and I was at one of the big box stores and told the guy that, and he said, "We'll use this mix, and if it doesn't work, bring it back and I'll give you your money back." Well, it didn't work, and he's no longer there, so that's how much the guarantee was worth. Here's a dandelion that looked quite healthy this afternoon, and now it looks like it's getting toasted. What a nice fitting end. Don't know what kind of weeds these are, but so far it's had no effect on them or on this. I'll check it tomorrow and see how it's doing. Here's some of that weed that I don't think it's a weed. I think it's a Virginia creeper. And up on the other part of the yard, it didn't have any effect, but this looks like it's actually killing it. So maybe there's hope. Here's some more field bindweed, and it looks like it's doing a good job. I think I'm going to keep after this until I can see that it's making a real difference. I'm hoping it kills it clear down at the roots, but it is everywhere, and I just can't possibly dig all that up. Out there it doesn't look like it's doing as much damage, but I'll check again tomorrow and we'll see where it goes. So here I'm going to mix up the magic formula of vinegar, fill this bottle, and vinegar. Just happen to have another bottle here, as we use it quite often. Another secret you can do, instead of buying the dishwashing tablets to get the scum off your dishes, is every few loads just put a cup full of this in your dishwasher, fill the cup and just put it so it doesn't spill down, and then it will gradually go into the water as the water pumps through, and your dishes will be much cleaner. Just a little tip, and keep your dishwasher cleaner too. So we'll finish filling this up. Okay, I'm going to fill it up about there, and then I'm going to get some salt, and I'm not really measuring, I'm just going to put a bunch in. And usually about a quarter cup. 1/4 cup for a quart, just a little less than a quart. Oh, and then the last thing is you want a little bit of dishwashing liquid. Doesn't have to be too much. That just helps break down the water repellent nature of the weeds. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some salt in this. If you've ever been bothered by weeds in your driveway, you can put a bunch of salt in some water. Doesn't matter cold or warm, just make sure it gets mixed up. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put this in the cracks in your driveway, and it usually won't go beyond the cracks into your grass, but it will stay in the cracks and keep it salty so the weeds won't grow. Okay. And we'll go out and check on this is day 3 of the field bindweed or morning glory. Some people call it morning glory, but it's actually field bindweed. And I just looked this morning, and it looks like the field bindweed is stronger than the salt vinegar mixture. But make sure your vinegar mixture with the salt is mixed up well, and make sure you only get this on the plants you want to kill, because it will damage your other plants. Okay, let's go outside and do this. Okay, I don't know if you can see, but just gonna trickle some water, salt water down in this. To make it very uncomfortable for the plants that want to grow there. And where we live, there's a lot of snow, and so a lot of times we'll use salt to get the ice off the driveway. Usually we use this ice melt now, but I'm gonna try this and make the weeds uncomfortable and die. I'm running out. I'll have to make some more. Okay. So we'll see what happens there. But anyway, you can try that, and that will help keep the weeds down on your driveway. Weed looked pretty good this morning, and now you can see signs of browning. It's just in one day. And I've used Roundup on these things before, and it hasn't done a thing. Okay, this is day 2 of putting salt water in the driveway and driveway and sidewalk cracks to kill the weeds. I didn't get any in some of these yesterday, so I'm going to put a little bit in, see if we can discourage those weeds from growing. Doesn't have to be a lot, just I've got quite a bit of salt. This is a 1/2 gallon of salt water. And a little more in here. There are quite a few of these little plants starting to go brown from the first time I did this. So it appears to be working quite well. But we'll try it for a few times and see if we can keep these weeds out of the cracks. Yeah, you can see some of these are already turning brown. So we'll see how that does. So here we are, looking at some of the weeds we sprayed in the last couple of days. Looks like they're starting to die. This is starting to die. The plants right there, looks like they're starting to be affected. This big long vine doesn't look like it's being damaged at all. Don't know what's going on with that. Those pipes are actually from a neighbor who's getting rid of his trampoline, getting a new one. So I'm going to make a wind spinner out of those. I'll have to do another video and show you. Get these vines sprayed really well and go check another part of the yard. Okay, you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but that's starting to turn brown. Give it an extra shot. And some of these are starting to turn brown. Give them an extra shot. So this is day 3. Those are sunflowers coming up from last year. Killing those, because usually the second year they don't produce any seeds, at least any that are any good. Yeah, spraying all these. Some of them are starting to come back. We'll just keep spraying them. See if we can teach them a lesson that we don't want them here. I don't know if you can see those. Have to be careful because there's grapevines in here that I don't want to mess with. You can hear some neighbors talking to their animals, their dogs. Got some raspberry plants over there I don't want to kill. Yeah, some of these are turning brown, but then it looks like some of them are coming right back to being healthy again. We'll see if we can discourage them. It's kind of windy. I'm a little worried that I'll get some overspray on my raspberries. Don't want to do that. Just need to make sure that everything I want dead is wet. Yeah, that's a pipe I've got to put back on today. Gopher trap that's set. I'm waiting to see if a gopher comes back. Looks like it has some effect on some things, but the field bindweed may take multiple sprayings. And these weeds back here, it's like some kind of dandelion weirdness. Doesn't seem to have any effect at all. Okay, day 3. So, there's some little bit wilted leaves. We'll spray some more on it, see if we can encourage it to die. This stuff is hard to kill. So it looks like some things this affects, other things you just will put weed, fertilizer on it. I'm going right along the fence line with this. See what we'll get. More Virginia creeper, more creepy Virginia. Okay, here's day 4, checking weeds. Looks like the sumac, or the Chinese elm, is not dying. Looks like these weeds are dying, which is great. That's showing a lot of brown. The field bindweed is starting to show some brown. So this is the 4th day that I've sprayed the mix of salt water. Well, not salt water. It's vinegar with salt in it. And have to be careful not to get it on the good plants. That one looks way too healthy. So I want to get on all the field bindweed. And I don't know if you can see the brown that it's turning. It's a good start. Here's the weeds you sprayed. Looks like it killed them in the middle right at first, but they're coming back. So I don't know how good that stuff really is, or maybe it'll still kill them, but we'll see. Here's the bindweed all over the place, and I sprayed it, and it's just all over the place. There's no chance of digging it up, so we'll spray it and see what happens. Okay, a little check on the vines we've been trying to kill. They're healthy as can be. There are some dead leaves in there, but it does seem to be coming back. Like I mentioned, I think this is day 8, maybe. I sprayed consistently for 3 or 4 days, and then decided to take a break and see how it would go. And I took advantage of the break and decided to come back. So I'm not terribly convinced this is a good method to kill weeds. It's a little more world friendly, but doesn't seem to work that well. Gonna check and see how the vinegar and salt spray has done. It was killing it off a bit, and now it's all grown back as if I'd put fertilizer on it. So I'm not terribly impressed. I'm wondering if I didn't put enough salt in. There are some of these that look like they've died off, but I'm gonna spray a little more. I did put a heavier salt mixture in, so, but I goofed up, and I'm only 50% vinegar, 50% water this time. time instead of pure vinegar. I'd already put some water with the salt. We'll see how this does. So yeah, I'm going to continue and spray the rest of these. But you can see these are healthy as can be. There are some spots that have died out a little bit, but they are coming back with a vengeance. I may have to try the thermonuclear option with a special way of doing Roundup. It's a very different way, and we'll try this, and if this doesn't work, we'll try that. I'll get back with you. Okay, here's day 10 or 11, and this shows the results of having sprayed this ground cover probably 5 times with a mixture of vinegar and salt water. Actually, there's a volunteer tomato plant right there, and there's another one, and they've grown up through there, and there's another one right here. But you can see it hasn't been much killed. Even these nasty Chinese elms, or some people call them Russian elms, it was dying, but I just pulled it up. But you can see this Morning Glory field bindweed is just everywhere. I've tried picking it out, digging it out, spraying it, and it seems like it's still going gangbusters. See, look right here. There's a volunteer tomato. There's another one. There's another one. There's another one. And there's another one. Looks like my volunteer tomatoes are doing as well as my volunteer weeds. I put some ground cover over where I'd sprayed some. And here's some of the others. You can see where it died back a little bit, but it's coming back healthy as ever. So I don't put too much faith in the vinegar and salt mixture. Doesn't seem to have done much good for me here. Here's the plant we used to call the cheese plant, because it has, I don't know if you can see these little seeds. Where's my finger? Oh, right here. They used to remind us of little balls of cheese, or rounds of cheese. So you can see there's a lot of dead leaves in here, but I can't tell if it's actually going to come back or going to die. If I had to bet, I would bet it's going to come back. Let's try one more thing. Here's the sumac tree. These things grow all over the place. They're a real nuisance. And I sprayed this with the vinegar and salt water, and actually vinegar and salt mixture with a little bit of dish soap, and it's done some damage to it, but I think I'd have to pour straight salt on the soil right there to get that thing to die. They're one of the hardest things to kill. I did spray this Virginia creeper, and you can see some dead spots here and here, so it's damaged it. But these things are so hard to kill. There's some damaged leaves right here and here, but it looks like it's still going strong. There's some damaged parts, but if I had to guess, I would bet this thing's going to keep growing because it keeps getting longer and stronger, and doesn't seem to be pausing just because I sprayed it with the mixture. Here's another of those tough weeds that looked like it was all dying out, but it seems to be recovering. A lot of dead leaves on it, but it does seem to be coming back. Let's see how this mixture does. And there was a little sumac tree been trying to kill. Hasn't worked. Okay, I'm going to try one last time, see if we can kill these things with, this one's just salt water. A little bit of salt, a gallon of water, or half gallon of water. See if we can get these things to stop growing. Got them in really hot water. See if the hot water combination makes a difference. Okay, this is our last chance before I admit failure. Okay, final verdict on whether vinegar and salt kills weeds. These have had 4 treatments, 3 of vinegar and salt water, and from my point of view, it looks like they're just as healthy as they were when we started. So either these things are pretty much immune to salt water and vinegar, or I didn't get enough on there. But for me, it looks like a total failure. Here's some of the weeds that I sprayed 4 times with vinegar and salt water. There's a few dead spots, but I think they're looking pretty darn healthy. Way too healthy for having vinegar and salt water sprayed on them. Now, it may be a difference if you soak the roots, which I didn't do, I just sprayed on them. So you might want to try soaking the roots if you can find them, but with this, they're just everywhere. So I tried spraying them, and it didn't work. Here's even more healthy, healthy, healthy. Here's some Virginia creeper that I sprayed. There's some spots here where it did a tiny little bit of damage, but that thing looks awfully darn healthy to me. So you can try the vinegar and salt water mixture, but I'm going to wait till it's below 85 degrees and maybe try the glyphosate products. So what I've concluded from the experiment of putting vinegar with salt water in it, I think I put a cup of salt, maybe 3/4 of a cup of salt in a quart of vinegar and sprayed it on those plants, is that's not going to work. So I wouldn't suggest doing that. There is some agricultural vinegar that is higher acidity. You can get it where it's 20% or 25% acidic. Regular vinegar that you can buy just in the grocery store is 5%. So if you're going to try the vinegar on the weeds, you're going to have to go with something a little stronger. You can get them at different places that sell agricultural kinds of things, farm equipment, and you should be, well, they come in like 5-gallon bottles, 3 gallons bottles, something like that, little plastic bottles. But you could try that. But if you're going to try the vinegar and salt, you're either going to have to try doubling the salt amount and really saturating the roots. I pretty much just sprayed the plant, and it made the plant struggle, but all of the plants survived that I sprayed. So you'll have to take your best guess on how to work your own. You could try dumping vinegar on where it soaks down to the roots, and that might kill it. I would think it might do that, but it's going to take a lot of vinegar. So give it a try and let me know in the comments below what works for you. But give me a thumbs up and subscribe and leave some comments, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.